A Ponzi scheme is a form of fraud where a racketeer tricks investors into receiving fake profits by paying earlier investors with the investments of more recent investors. This scheme leads victims to believe that profit is coming from product sales and/or investments. This scheme works if those who are being led on don't all demand full returns immediately on their investments. It also generally only works when being pulled off by a charismatic and/or brilliant conman. The first Ponzi schemes were pulled off by Charles Ponzi in the early 1900s. Ponzi, the namesake of this form of fraud, hailed from Parma, Italy. A charismatic man, Ponzi started using his new racket to make around $250,000 a day. His scheme fell apart in the late 1920s. However, many would follow Ponzi's example and extrapolate wealth from investors by using fake profits. Probably the largest and most public case of a Ponzi scheme going public would be the case of Bernie Madoff. Madoff was a very charismatic man. Many people trusted him without second thought. He was a highly respected and well regarded individual in the investment community. It was discovered in late 2008 and December 10th that his entire business and therefore his reputation was built on a massive Ponzi scheme. Overall, this scheme stole over $20 billion in principal funds from investors and was estimated around $65 billion in total amount. Madoff is serving a life sentence, but not before pulling off what will most likely go down as one of, if not, the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of the United States of America. In more recent news, 3 men were arrested for a $364 million Ponzi scheme, with which all of them used to fund extravagant lifestyles. This included expensive living and expensive homes and extravagant vehicles, and of course, lots of drugs. This was a pretty typical Ponzi scheme. However, it serves as a warning to always double check where your investments are going because, as always, it could be a lie. To conclude, the Ponzi scheme is one of the most deceptive forms of fraud, as indifferent from other forms of fraud such as identity theft, where it's someone